What would you tell people who are going through this, or who know somebody who's going through this season? What would have been ministering to you during this season in your life? Because it seems like you said that she only wanted you to take care of her, and it was a very alienating time. I mean, I'm sure, and you're a social person.
Yeah.
So
complicated.
Yes, that's really hard. I mean, so what would you tell somebody, like, would be a good way of ministering to people like that?
I think what I would say, let's say under normal circumstances, there's no pandemic and we're not having to deal with that. I have a good friend, former pastor on our staff who lives in South Carolina now. And there was a day that he drove 6 hours, arranged with my daughters to be there.
What a sweet
just to get me out of the house for an hour, right?
Yeah.
Just to show up.
Yeah.
That was there were a lot of I don't want to short sell anyone in the process, but to me, vividly, presence and knowing what presence required was one of the most astounding things that was done for me in that season of life. It just meant so much. Nothing had to be said. Presence said it all, and it said it loudly. I think if you went to Scripture and you looked at Job's scenario, where we like to go to Job when there's crisis.
When it's hard, yeah.
Yeah, that's where we go. And I think if you look at that account, what you see initially are his brothers, his friends, they come and they get down in the dirt and they just sit with him.
Yeah.
And I think Scripture indicates that they were there for a few days, but then they let human nature take over. Then they had to offer reason and explanations, and then it got away from them. But the beginning of that story, to me, is the best thing that you can do for somebody, and that's just to be present. You're not going to solve it. You can't fix it, but you can love on somebody with presence and a listening ear in a way that, to me, is much more dramatic than offering a verse of Scripture, because honestly, all of Scripture, I believe, hold on to it, but it doesn't make a lot of difference in the midst of pain. And that may sound awful, but I don't think it is. I think you're doing everything you can just to deal with the trauma that's in front of you.
Right.
And what I really need is to know people are walking with me in it. And for everybody that did that, I will forever be grateful. For the people that showed up and just did my yard because they knew it needed to be done, not because I asked them to do it. Those are the things that are really little, seemingly, but to me they carry the most mileage.
Yeah.
They make the most difference because you didn't have to think about it. You didn't have to answer somebody's questions. Somebody just saw a need and responded. Or they just came to sit on the front step with me for 15, 20 minutes, right? Those things make the most difference. But in general, we're uncomfortable with other people's suffering. That makes everybody uncomfortable. We want to fix it. That's who we are, human nature. And we're really, really uncomfortable with long-term suffering. I'm good if we can do this, and then a month from now you're better and we're moving on.
Right.
But this is exhausting.
Right.
To the individual that's suffering, to the families that are dealing with it, and to friendships that surround it. It just won't leave you alone. It won't go away. And I think it requires a different level of care. And to me, what that looks like is presence. I think presence speaks more. There are things that come up. There are needs that, people would bring my trash can down and I wouldn't have to worry about it. No one ever told me they did it. It just happened. I knew it was happening. But it meant a lot that somebody thought, hey, that would help him. Let's do it, right? Let's do it. And I think from a practical sense, if you can see those kinds of needs and meet them, you're doing them favors beyond what you know, right? That it's just really helpful.
Yeah.
It's really helpful.
And people did it without asking you, so they weren't putting a burden on you to see if you were okay with it, right?
Right.
Did you feel like they just kind of did things that they knew would need to be done?
Things just were done. Somebody came and blew off all the leaves off the yard, or that was pretty dramatic. The things that were, this sounds awful, but the things that were exhausting, excuse me, people were great about providing meals. But we don't live in a generation where people cook meals anymore, which meant that every day I got a call, hey, we signed up to bring you a meal. What do you want? Which for the first week or so, that was fine. But after 2 weeks,
you're like, I don't
know what I want.
Yeah,
I've been to all the, right? So I'm racking my, oh gosh, that call's going to come. I've got to think, what are we going to eat tonight? What can you, it was honestly exhausting because it just wore you out.
It's one more thing.
Yeah, it's one more thing
people
you
would
have to
assume
do.
they're reaching out. This is good to hear from the other side, because you think, oh, well, I want to get them whatever they want. But then you're thinking, I can't think of one more thing right now.
Yeah. Now, again, in the short term, that's okay. But in long-term care situations, it just beats you down.
Yeah.
So the thing that just shows up and you're like, oh, I didn't think I wanted that, but that looks great.
Well, that's perfect.
It's perfect. But
I didn't have to make a decision.
And again, people mean well. I hesitate to say it, but I think for people going forward, the more decisions you can make and take off of the individual that's in the midst of pain and suffering, that is consumed with their circumstance, the better off the care is, right? It just meets specific needs, and it's really helpful. So
that's great advice.
That's great advice.